It's welcome to the Totally Awesome Fishing Show again. This time I'm going to be doing something I call it point blank carp fishing. That means getting right in there where the carp live. Check this out and see if you get a few tips, might put that extra fish in the net for you. People, I want to try and show you some of the tips you can pick up looking for fish. It's sort of watercraft. Now I don't know, I picked the camera up so it's obviously going to stop now, but you can see fish bumping in the rushes here. Now you ordinarily think that's a duck or something like that, but no, they are carp that are pushing their way through. I've already spooked one in the margins here. I'm just going to come and creep around, I've still got my rods out, and see if they're still doing it. There they are. I'm going to zoom in fast. Hopefully you can see that bumping. See if they do it there. There, you can see that. All that movement is carp in there. They're right in amongst that, I call it speargrass, I don't know what it's really called. I mean, you probably catch them on slow sinking bread flake, I would say, in there. Or they might even come up on the top, dog biscuits, different situations. And I can see them over in the distance here. Right in amongst the stems there, moving. Going to move him around to see if you can just see there, hopefully, if I go in a bit, you see that very slight swirling on the ground bait particles on the surface. That means that 2 feet down there's been a carp digging around and he's coming in, taking some and then coming back. So I'm going to put the camera on the other side and just lower it down there and wait for it. But there's a lot of mud down there. And look, you can probably see me here. To be honest, I'm going to have to go back a bit. Let's go around this side. Well, I didn't get the camera ready in time, but I did at least hook a carp up right on those margins. That's one of the problems filming on your own. You can never get it all in the frame at the same time. So there we go, a bit of point blank carp fishing, close in margin fishing under your rod tops. Done the job for me. Another common. That's 5. I've only been in the afternoon and I'm just fishing on under a rod length out. What a spanker to finish with. Now my definition of close range is get to where those carp live. If they won't come to you, you've got to get your bait to them. Now, different fishery, different situation. Just look at that ripple on the right there. Did you see that with the camera jump? That tiny swell there is enough indication to tell me that on the edge of those lilies, some carp patrolling. You want to get right in on top of them, and that's exactly what I did here and got the hook up. That was worth a move, wasn't it, guys? Just hanging in the bottom part of the jaw hole still. Get the line away from it. It's gone right around the net. Now then. Look at this one, people. Although it's short, it's probably not far away from. Whoa, 9 pounds. It might be close to the magic 10. Nice looking fish. Off the surface in the evening. I thought, I'm going to go. And the phone's going as well. It's Michael wanting to know how I caught a fish. I'm letting it ring. I'm letting him stew in it. There you go. I'll get this back and I'll answer the phone. Well, I wanted another go at trying to get you a shot of those carp coming right underneath the rod top. But without a polarising lens, I didn't have much hope. However, you've got to take my word for it. Right under the rod was where I was fishing. That was a nice fun-sized carp, but let's get back to that first lake where, yes, I got another fish finally hooked up at close range. We're on, guys. We are on close in and he's stripping big time. He is stripping. Just hit me like a ton of bricks. I was eating a sausage roll and I think I got the sausage roll in one bite. Could be £7, £8. I could also not be surprised if that other rod goes off. I'm going to come up a bit and I'm going to go down and concentrate on getting that for you. That is hot dog segment for you. Deadly for margin fishing. Now there he is. You can see him. I don't actually think that's the one that I saw swirling in the swim, but he'll do. I don't think he'll quite go 8, 7, something like that. Nice carp, margin fishing, rod just crashed over. I feel it's going to happen again. Let's get this one back. Might be a bit more than the sort of £7-ish that one, guys. And that's right where I hooked him. Wait a minute. He's gone. Now it's going to go quiet now because I've obviously put the fish straight over the swim. That is margin fishing. All you've got to do, a little bit more bait, sit back, give it 20 minutes. Hopefully, another one's going to come in. Well, I left that old guy happily fishing peacefully in his swim, oblivious to all the trials and tribulations of the world. And I took the cameras to another lake where I found another old guy. In fact, it could be his twin. And this bloke was different. He was catching fish right under some overhangs. This is just a trip, a last minute trip. I'm coming down to a lake that's called Octopussy, so you can go down to Octopussy Lake. I'm going to be trying to catch anything. It's one of those trips I'm going for anything. I'm going to chop and change between methods. I'm going to start up here. There's quite a few people on the lake anyway. It appears pretty dead at the moment. I'm going to be fishing with halibut pellets on the bottom. There might be a chance for catfish. Loads of little rudd on the surface, I think a golden rudd. And I'm going to be trying for, well, if a carp comes along, great, but I have got some bread out there. Already catapulted some bread out. That's one of the first things I ever do is, when I get to fish, is just catapult out some bread there. Just see what comes up. It costs nothing, a loaf of bread, and you never know what you're going to get. So I'm set up. Going to, well, I'll probably put a bait over in the corner of the bay by the bush there, one in this little bay here, and just give it a go. I mean, that's all you can do. Very, very sort of thundery type weather here at the moment. Bit of weird weather, but, well, let's see how we get on. Look at this place, looks like an unfishable swim. In fact, it's not. That tiny hole just on the far bank is enough for me to get a bait into. And if you can get the fish patrolling around the edge there, which they do, you win with a good chance. And see the ripple on the left of the frame there? There's just enough movement to tell me there are carp in there. But there we go, guys, got that one out just by looking for a little gap in the weed. That was just on plain crust. I'd say the fish would go 12, or maybe maybe 13 pounds. Nice and thick across the back. Good looking fish. Very lucky to get it out on those conditions, but heavy line seemed to do the trick. Beautiful, beautiful fish. Well, it all seems very, very quiet. Haven't seen another fish caught, but I'm pretty sure they're really tight under that bush. And I'm a great lover of floating baits when it goes dead like this. They're not cruising at all, but what you can do, you can make what I call a pyramid crust. Because one piece of crust won't go that very, it won't go far, and that's a long cast. I don't like using float controllers or anything like that. So what you do is this: get your crust, cut it into, let's say, a couple of bits of 1/4 inch square, and a little bit bigger, like this, and then you stack them on what we call, well, old school admittedly, called pyramid crust. So I want the weight at the bottom of the hook. There's the hook, quite a big hook, about size 4. Roll it round, put it up over the top. Another one through the pad, a little bit bigger pad, roll it up, put it on. Next one is a little bit bigger again, roll it round, slide it up over the eye. The last one is the biggest one. Roll it round, and then I slide these all back on there. Now this will cast a lot further if you give it a little dunk in the water. Do not give it a long dunk because it will come off. So give it one dip, gives it a bit of weight, and then you should be able to get it right out there. Here you can see a load of small fish knocking the crust. I don't really mind that, because even though they're pushing it around, they can't quite eat it. That activity and vibration and stuff does attract the carp. I've seen it many, many times. Right in close to these rushes, you can see how close that bed's drifting, and the activity of those small rudd knocking it about will bring out a carp sooner or later, trying to see what the heck is going on. Well, it's quiet up there, and I'm not one to sit there for hours and hours catching nothing, so I've wound in, and just up the corner here, the back of an island, there's really loads of little, I don't know, like baby, not lilies, arrowhead, I don't know what they call that type of leaf, I call it arrowhead. Load of weeds in there. I'm just going to go and see if I can drop a few bits of bread, crust and pieces in the middle of the bread into tiny, tiny little gaps where there just might be a carp that these other people are not looking for and be resting up, and there's only somebody sneaky like me that will go and try and winkle them out. I'll show you, exactly how close I'm going to get. Now, another swim. Look at this one. You can see now there's an absolute carpet or bed of lilies there, but there's some nice holes in it, a couple of good holes there, and that's just enough. That out the back, of course, you can't really, there will be carp under there, but there's another hole you can see that you can cast to. As long as you use strong line, 15-pound line, something like that, big hook. Look at that little bump in the middle of the lilies. Did you see that little bit of water movement? That's all it takes to tell you that a fish are in there. Provided you can get a bait in there, you've got a chance of getting a hook up. Now just over there, guys, is a couple of tiny gaps. I'll zoom in and I'll show you where I mean. That tiny hole there could actually have a carp cruising through it, as could if I move along here. And Let's go in for, yeah, that one there. As the camera angle comes back here, you'll see I've gone back to that island which has got that hole or channel. The fish come out of that big lake and work their way around that island because the other anglers probably pushed them out there. But providing you get in there, I am hopeful. Just watch close to the bank, guys, on the right hand side, the right hand top there. Did you see that ripple just before the bread hit the water? If you've missed it, go back again and have a look, because the carp is right where that last piece of bread was absolutely hanging in the corner there. You can see it's virtually touching the bank side. That's no problem, because that would always drift around there, backwards and forwards. And once a carp, they really sort of home in on it and they find that food there, because the longer the bread stays in there, the softer it's going to get. And in places like this is what I call nook and cranny. You're posting it right in their letterbox, then you don't get so many rudd. That's what I find. You can see there's the carp. If you saw that, you can actually physically see him come up and take a piece of bread. But you need to be watching. If you watch again, there, he's taken that piece that I said earlier was right up against the bank side. Here he comes, here he comes. Big carp, that one. Nice piece of bread. Notice he only took one piece. He didn't take the second piece. I generally find the bigger carp just suck one piece back and then go back down again. He thinks I don't know where he lives, but I do. Well, after getting that carp out, really pleased with that. A little bit lucky. Came back about half an hour later, more bread in. Another 2 carp came up with a hook one. It barreled straight through the weed beds out the other side. Pingo. Hook pulls out. I'll put some more bread in that hole, because maybe the third one will come out, I don't know, but basically I had the fish of the day. Left my gear there, move around here, I'm on another lake, I just put some bread out. Multitudes of rudd here, but I can hear that sucking noise, and I know somewhere in here there's a carp or two. Might not be big. Let's see if we can finish off and get another one. Can you hear that? Right by the bush. Right by the bush, guys. There he is. Let's get in there with a floating crust. And you can see what I said before, how close he is to those marginal rushes. He is right in there. There he is, right on the edge there. You can see him. What's happened is I just moved him where another angler's packed up, and all his bits of bread and ground bait's drifted over there, so he's done me a major favour. In fact, there's more than one there. I've heard got to get the rod. Oh my God. My problem is, guys, the piranhas have moved in and all the rudder there. I think I need to almost cast just one carp. I can see one coming past my rod over there. There he is, see the dark shape of him. Let's see if I can bait up and cast him individually. Ooh, wow, I like the sound of that. See if I can get him over there for you, so you can actually see the take. Got to get right in tight, so the rud will have it. Behind, and the rud can take it. Here he comes, here he comes. Here he comes, here he comes, here he comes, here he comes. Chomp, 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 chomp. Oh, I missed him. Not only that. Where have I gone? Have a guess where I've gone. I've gone round the back of the reel, yes, and I've gone up the tree, and I didn't bring my spare hooks with me. How clever, Graham, how intelligent. Sure they are. I see the branches twitching. Try a skid cast. And the bush. Missed it. I've missed it. How did I miss that? Now it's right there. There's my crust right up against the margins of the rushes. Hopefully, it's only going to be a carp that gets hold of it. It's gone. It's sunk. Oh, I'll tell you what. Not a bad fish. It really ate. Well, bread all the way, guys. I think I was feeding too much bread, attracting too many ruds. I've got another small mirror here. Oh, come on. Here we go again, people. A long, narrow, I'm going to call it a sort of match type lake, but it's not actually match lake. You think, okay, long casting towards the island, classic situation for carpy warpies. Not all the time. Why don't you go around looking like I am here? You're looking very, very tight in. It's looking for those point blank carp where you can literally hook them right under your feet. You got some lilies there. You got that spear blade stuff. That sometimes a bank is actually undercut, and that undergrowth is pushed out over the top, and the carp are underneath it. Oh look, nice bumblebee. Don't get stung there, will you, Graham? Pretty, but ouch. And you can see here, out by the island, classic place to catch carp. Well, not always. Round that left-hand edge, if you go searching, look all around the margins, scatter some bread, you can find some fish. Guys, it's a beautiful day, but I see nothing moving on the surface. Water's got a tinge of colour in it, as you can see. Got a nice big lodge. This would make the ultimate bivvy, wouldn't it? This would make the ultimate bivvy. Gonna have a scout around, just see what I can find. One guy fishing down the end there. A few fish moving on the surface, so he must be feeding. And that's what I might do, is go over the other side. Just see if anything will come up on my bread. There we go, I'm hooked up. I've got this one on bread right in the corner, underneath literally a couple of twigs. And if you watch here, I actually get the fish quite close. It wants to go back where I hooked it, under the margins there, and ping, the hook comes out. Uh-oh. Oh well, that's fishing. So although you're looking at a great big open lake like this, don't just discount it if there's nothing out in the middle. It looks dead. It's a hot sunny day. Nothing's moving. Here's another lake. Just keep moving around, looking, and trying to find where the carp are. Very often they're not in the middle of the lake. They're actually, most of them, I find, in the summer, especially on hot days, they're going to be round the edge of the lake. So keep moving, moving, moving. By all means, put your gear in a swim. You obviously can't leave your rods unattended, but you just have a walk around, check stuff out. And by checking stuff out, I found in amongst those lilies there on the left, in about a 4-inch gap in the weed, I dropped a piece of, I think it was slow sinking bread crust, or slow sinking bread flake this time, sorry. Got a nice carp hooked up. So I didn't even have to pile a load of bait in. All I did was put a little bit of loose feed in there. You can see the bread in the bucket there. And once they come up, you just wait and wait and wait. And providing you use a strong line, you can get fish that probably no other angler has been catching. Well, it's a beautiful summer evening. As you get down some of these fisheries, it stills off in the evening, the ripples go, and you get yourself hooked up. And not often anglers go home. I know they have to, they might have work the next day, they might have families, whatever. I really appreciate that, but if you can hang on, as long as you can in the evening, you can get fish. Sometimes during the day, it's hard. We all know that in the summer's day, it's tough. But if you just look for point blank areas where the fish are literally under your feet in tight little nooks and crannies, put that bait right on their heads. Pretty good chance with either slow sinking bread flake and watch the line pull tight, or obviously the good old fashioned floating crust can bring in fish like this. There we go, he's in the net, beautiful sunset. Do you know what? It's even time to get a beer before I go to bed.